Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. As you can see, I got a haircut, I got bangs. I didn't go in there asking for this. I said I wanted trim and I wanted my side bangs to be cut shorter, and she styled it like this and I'm absolutely in love with it. It's like, oh my gosh, I love that. So way to go, my stylist. But anyway, today I'm gonna be talking about books I read in July, so my July wrap up. I read a total of 25 books. Who am I don't know how I did that. It seemed like July went by so slow. Like, I don't know how I did this, and I don't know if I'll do it again because I'm about to start school in August, which is this month. I'm about to start school in probably like a week and a half. So yeah, and so far I've only read like 2 books, so we'll see how that goes. I do have these kind of categorized because I participated in 2 readathons, so I'm gonna go in order of that. And then the third one is basically ones I've read that don't classify in a readathon, just like on top of them. So right, let's get right into this video. I'll try not to talk too much about each book because of my very long video for 25 books, and I hope I don't forget a book. Anyway, the first readathon I participated in was Summer Ween readathon. I do have a vlog up for that week, so if you want to go watch that, it's on my channel. It's my first vlog, so it's not the best, but I'm learning, I'm getting better, so just, you know, take that into consideration when you go watch it because it's not the best. Anyway, the first book I read for that was Nunchuck Sleep by Ellie Marnie. This is pitched as a YA Silence of the Lambs, and I absolutely love Silence of the Lambs. And it basically is that. It's basically a YA Silence of the Lambs. Like, I loved it. It did kind of follow like the movie, but of course different because it's a YA one, so they changed some stuff. They kind of did some stuff similar, but kind of like changed it to fit the storyline, so I appreciated that. I really loved it so much. I love this cover, so gruesome. Like, blood, the knife, love it. And after that, I read a manga, and it was The Nightmare Before Christmas manga. I saw this on Kindle Unlimited, and I was like, I have to read that. And I did, and it was really short. It's basically the movie form in a manga, so if you don't want to read that, don't read it. But I just really enjoyed it because I just love Nightmare Before Christmas, so I'll really read anything, even if it's just the movie version. The only difference is there's no singing in the manga. There was just dialogue, so that was different. But I just really enjoyed it. I love being back in this world, these characters that I know and love. And it just fit the theme perfectly, and it got me in the spooky mood. So, yeah. Then after that, I picked up Stock Injector by Carrie Maniscalco. This is a reread. I don't know how many times I've reread this. I love this series so much. I read it and I annotated it because the first time I reread this, I think it was just when I was first starting to get into annotation, so I didn't annotate it well. I only had like 4 tabs in here when I picked it up this time, and every time I was reading I was like, why didn't I tab this? Like, that's why there's a lot, because I was like, why didn't I tab this? Like, what the heck? So I've gotten better since then. I'm still kind of new to it and I don't do it often, but I do want to get more into it and everything. But I really love this book. It's not for everyone. It's a historical setting. It's pretty gruesome. I forgot how gruesome it is for a YA. It's pretty gruesome. So yeah, it's not for everyone. So if you don't enjoy this thing, don't read it. But if this sounds like something like your cup of tea, then go ahead, totally check it out. Then the next book I have, I don't own, but I have the second book to it. This is the second book, but the first one is Murder at Mornington Hall. I'll put the picture up right here, by Clara McKenna. This is the second one, so I want to get to this soon. But I do think you should read them in order because the first one kind of sets everything up and shows you, you know, how our 2 main characters, how the relationship gets started, how everything is established and everything. So totally check it out if you want to, but in order. I mean, you could go out of order, but I don't know if you'll understand it as well, so yeah. In my vlog, it shows that I went to Barnes & Noble's during that week of the readathon, and I got a book that was perfect for a readathon. I read it in like a day, and that is 14 Ways to Die by Vincent Ralph. I just saw this cover and this title, and I was like, I have to get that. It was on sale. It was like those books that they have there that are $5 if you purchase something from the cafe, so I got it. And I even read the back before I bought it, and it did sound like something I would like. It's about another serial killer, and it's told in these intense short chapters, so that's why it went by really, really fast, and I enjoyed it. So throughout the whole readathon, I was listening to an audiobook, and I finished it closer to the end of the readathon, and that is My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. And I didn't love this as much as everyone was solving it, but I still really enjoyed it. There are scenes in here that I love. It's just like, I guess some of the pacing was off. Some stuff kind of annoyed me, but I get why it was like that. It was for the book. So I get that, but it just kind of annoyed me. And so some of the stuff just didn't really make me want to pick it up. But I did want to see how it ended, so I did eventually pick it up and finished it. There are 2 scenes in here that I just keep on remembering. One really reminds me of a scene from the movie The Exorcist. I won't go into detail just in case you haven't seen it and want to. I don't want to spoil it. But if you have seen it, the scene, the girl in her bedroom with the cross, like, something similar but not the same happened in here. There's another scene that actually reminded me of a scene from the Poltergeist. Again, I don't want to say anything if you haven't seen it. I don't want to spoil it. But if you do know, I'm just going to say one word. Worm. If you know, you know. That scene always gets me. Like, it's the same context, like I dealt with the same thing, but it was different because it's in this book, but it just kind of reminded me of that scene from the Poltergeist. And I was living for it. But anyway, overall, I didn't really love it like everyone else was, but I still really enjoyed it. The final book I read for the readathon, but also read it for the next readathon because it worked out for that one as well, is Romina by Junji Ito. Junji Ito is a horror manga author, and so it fit perfectly for the summer readathon because it's a horror manga. And I really enjoyed it. It's about this planet that comes out of a black hole. The scientist discovers it and he names it after his daughter, Romina. But then all of a sudden this planet starts coming closer to Earth fast, but along the way he eats the other planets that he, you know, comes in contact with. And then when it gets to Earth, it starts coming closer and closer, and it's like trying to eat Earth. And so everyone's thinking the planet's named Romina, and so they're thinking that it's the daughter's fault, who's also named Romina, and they're thinking if we kill Romina, the daughter, it'll stop Romina, the planet. I don't know where that logic came from, honestly. They're like, oh, she's a witch, it's her fault because it's named after her. She didn't ask for it to be named after her, her father did it, so... But like, where's the logic in that? But I guess when it's the end of the world, logic just kind of goes out. I don't know. But anyway, it was pretty interesting. I really enjoyed it. It's pretty graphic because Junji Ito is pretty like that. I love his stuff. And so this also goes into my next readathon. It's Sci-Fi July because it also is kind of sci-fi. Planet, space, scientists, like it's sci-fi as well as being horror. And there is a bingo board for it. And on there it has a horror sci-fi, and this is basically that, so it worked out perfectly. So now we're getting into the sci-fi books I read for It's Sci-Fi July. So after Romina, I read Saga Volume 9 by Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples. This is the last one that is currently out. They went on a hiatus and they haven't been back since, but I'm hoping they will be back soon because this one left off in such a cliffhanger. So much stuff happened and I just need to know what happens after this because I just love this series so much. I totally recommend. This is an adult graphic novel, so keep that in mind going into it. If you're young, don't go into it because it is pretty graphic because it's adult. So yeah, I reread Cinder by Marissa Meyer. I love this series so much. It's like so close to my heart. I read it so many years ago. I loved it. And I just wanted to reread it because there's a prompt on there for a reread. And I just wanted to reread this. And I love these new covers they did for the paperbacks. I actually got this one signed by the author to me. That's my name. Because she came to Austin, which is only an hour and a half from San Antonio. So we drove over there to go see her. Totally recommend. It's a good YA sci-fi dystopian retelling. Each book is a retelling, but then they all kind of also to converge with each other into one whole big story, one whole big plot line in a way. So I really loved it. It's so amazing, like so vast. Like it's not complex in a way where it's confusing, but it's also too like a lot that happens, but it's really straightforward and I really loved it. And after that, I read a book on my Kindle called All Systems Red by Martha Wells. I've been meaning to check out this series. Everyone's been raving about it. It's the first book in the Murderbot series. It's really funny. and you know, just really good book. I really enjoyed it. And this series, it's like novellas. Like each book is kind of like a novella. They're really short. They're like a little over 100 pages, but it's really, really interesting. I love the characters. There's action. It's funny. It's wholesome. I just love it overall. And after that, I read, I guess, a sci-fi classic. It can be considered as a classic. It's also do a comedy sci-fi. It's one of my dad's favorites. So he had this really cool bind up of it, and there's a movie of it, but he didn't really enjoy the movie, so he told me to read the book, and I did. And that is A Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Again, this is a bind up. It's like a special edition, but I really, really enjoyed it. It's so funny, witty, such a good book. And it's not for everyone because the comedy in here is not everyone's cup of tea, but I really enjoyed it. After that, I was slowly reading To Sleep in a Sea of Stars throughout the month, and I finally finished it. It's such a good book. Now, at the end of this book, there is like an addendum, and I don't know if I'm supposed to read that or not. Right here it says addendum, and it's basically over 30 pages of like information of this world, like more scientific information of this world. So I don't think I really have to read it because it doesn't really have anything to do with the plot or the storyline, because it is a standalone, so it's not like anything that's going to be continued with. I mean, maybe for this world, but I don't know. So do I have to read that or not? Because I totally skipped it. But if it is important, let me know and I'll go back and read it. But I did kind of start it, but it was just kind of like a lot of scientific stuff that I'm like, I'm not reading this. So I didn't. I read the next 3 books in the Murderbot series. So I read Artificial Conditions, I read Rogue Protocol, and I read Exit Strategy, as well as a little smaller novella. It was literally like 20 pages. Home Habitat Range and some other stuff. Is a long title. The little small novella was following one of the characters that you meet in the first one and throughout the other books, because she went through an ordeal, so you're just kind of following after that how she's coping with everything and how everyone else is doing after all that. So it's just a really small thing. I loved it. There's a 5th one, and that one's actually their first full-length novel in the Murderbot series, and I'm so excited for it. I've been trying to find it. They don't have it in my library, so I'm waiting until it's available, because I want to buy these, but they're just so expensive for just like a small book. So hopefully I can probably find them somewhere cheap or something. But yeah, I really love it. I continued with my reread, and I read Scarlet by Marissa Myers. This is the 2nd book in the Lunar Chronicles series. Like I'm saying, I love this series. Totally recommend checking out. It still holds up to this day. Like, it's an older series, but I still really, really love it and totally recommend. Then after that, I read The Test by Soleil Nouvelle. I think that's the name. And this one's really, really short. I've heard mixed things about it. I think it's weird. It's different. It's interesting. I don't know how I feel about it. It gets you thinking about things, so that's a good thing. But after I finished it, I was like kind of like shell-shocked in a way. If you can hear my family, they're out there, so sorry about that. That's all the sci-fi books I had for Sci-Fi July. The rest is other books I read on top of that. The first one being A Touch of Malice. This is the 3rd book in A Touch of Darkness series by Scarlet St. Clair. And I love this series. I love the characters. It's Persephone and Hades like retelling in this world with the Greek gods and everything. I love the way they did Hades, but I do agree that some people are saying like they didn't really like the way they portray Hades in the kind of like the later ones, to an extent. The 3rd one though, I had some issues. I really liked it, but I had some pacing issues, and then near the end some stuff was happening that I felt like there was ways for our main characters to get out of the situation, like obvious ways, but she just didn't take them, and I felt the author did that so that way it can extend it. And I thought that was the last book, but it's not. There's gonna be another book, and I don't know if that's the final book or not, but I felt like she did that on purpose at the end to have it continue, because it kind of left off in a cliffhanger. It wasn't that interesting of a cliffhanger, because I was like, you could have gotten out of this, but whatever. And I still felt like even if she did get out of it, then they still could have continued on with the next one, because there were still issues that wasn't solved without having to go through all this extreme stuff. But it's whatever. But yeah, it was just the pacing. It was just kind of like off, slow, kind of stretched out, because I feel like they were doing that because of it's not the final book. But anyway, I still really enjoyed it. I love the world, the characters. Okay, sorry, my battery died, so let's try to get through this. because I didn't charge it that long. So I don't know where it cut off, but I think I talked about Touch of Malice. So the next one after that was Kingdom of the Wicked by Romina. I've had this one since it came out. The second one is supposed to come out in October of this year, so I wanted to read it before that one came out. And I tabbed it, but not as much, just a little bit, because I wasn't going to at first, but then some stuff kind of caught my eye, some foreshadowing, so I wanted to. And I really like this one. It's different than her other series. I still kind of prefer her other one. I love that one, but I did really enjoy this one. It was mysterious and vague, and it was so atmospherical. So it takes place in Italy. I don't know when it takes place. It's kind of like old times, but also like fantastical, but urban fantasy. So I don't know. We follow two twin sisters. The main character, we follow Amelia. She finds her sister dead or murdered and her heart ripped out. And there are two witches. And so she does what she has been raised not to do, and she summons a prince of hell, Wrath. And they work together to kind of find who killed her sister, and it just goes from there. And it's so good, and I'm so excited for the second one. After that, I read Heartstopper Volume 3 by Alice Oseman. It's just so light and fluffy, but this one does start delving into deeper topics like mental health, eating disorders, all that. And I believe the fourth one that's coming out later this year is even more deeper into that topics. So I really appreciate them dealing with tougher subjects, talking about that, and it's just really good. I really like it and enjoy it. Totally recommend this series. It's so cute, but also talks about tougher subjects. The next one I read was on my Kindle, and it was Dare You to Hate Me by B. Celeste. I really enjoyed this. This is all I just wanted like romance, but I also delved in with a little deeper topics. So trigger warning for sexual assault and abuse. It was really good though. I really enjoyed it. I love the romance, the characters, and how it talked about those deep, like the sexual assault it's just like kind of briefly mentioned because it's like a memory because it happened in the past, but it is still talked about and delved into, but it's not like a main part of the story or like the plot line because it did happen in someone's past. So it was just mentioned and quickly talked about, so it's not like fully there, it's not like really seen, it's just mainly talked about. So yeah. Then after that I read something lighter, and I read Pages & Co. The Book Wanderers. This is Tilly Pages & Co. I believe, by Anna James. This is a middle grade. I didn't love this as much as everyone else was loving it, and as much as I loved the other middle grade I read, but I still really enjoyed this. There's some stuff that didn't vibe with me well, but yeah, overall I really like this. Sorry, my camera cut out again. I just love the magic, how you can travel in books and talk with these book characters and everything is so beautiful. Really loved it. Sorry, camera cut out again. Then I read The Deal by Elle Kennedy. A lot of people have recommended it, so I've been checking it out. It's part of a series. This one I don't think you have to read in any kind of order. It follows different characters in each one, but I really like this one. It's sports romance as well. I think the other one's also too sports romance. Actually, you know what? I mixed this one up with Dare You to Hate Me. This one, The Deal, has trigger warnings for sexual assault and abuse. Dare You to Hate Me, I think, has like more sexual harassment, but no abuse. So that's different. I got them mixed up for whatever reason, just because I read like two romances kind of back to back. Didn't really help. Sorry, my camera battery keeps on dying because I'm not letting it charge fully because it's getting dark, so I want to finish this video quick. Anyway, I don't know where I left off. Oh, that's right. I was talking about how I mixed up the two romances because I read them back to back, and they're both sports romances, so I just kind of got which one was which mixed up. So, Dare You to Love Me by B. Celeste. It follows these two main characters who were best friends growing up, but the main character didn't have the best home life, you could say. And so when she was 16, she decided to run away, and she asked her best friend, who is a love interest, I forgot his name, to run away with her, but he was so focused on his football career that he said no. And she was expecting that because she wanted him to play football and whatever, but she was just asking. So she ran away, and then it's 4 years later. They are at the same college. She went through a lot of stuff after that, so there's trigger warnings for or the self-harm, sexual harassment, and yeah, I think that's it on that one. And yeah, when he sees that she's there, he tries to like win her, like they were friends, but then like, you know, get her back as friends first, and then the romance starts from there. But she's changed. She went through a lot of stuff. She's different and everything, but I really enjoyed it. It's a really good book. I really liked it. The other one I got mixed up with was The Deal by L. Kennedy. This one is also a sports romance, but I believe the sports is hockey. So it follows our two main characters. The guy love interest, I'm blanking on all these names. He is a hockey player who's popular, and then our main character, she is not popular. She's just focusing on her school. It's set in college, and then he needs tutoring in one of subjects in order to pass to play, and he gets her. There's like this deal to have her tutor him, and then he will help her get the guy that she has a crush on. But while doing that, they kind of start getting feelings for each other and everything. And then this one deals with sexual assault and abuse, so trigger warnings for those. But this one was still really good. Such a good book, I thought, because the cover on Kindle Unlimited, it's not the best cover, so I thought it was going to be more cheesy, cringy romance, but it really wasn't. It has more substance to it. And then the last book I read was Tokyo Ghoul Volume 2. I really have been really enjoying this manga series, and I want to continue with it. I do want to watch the show, but I wanted to read some more of these mangas before that. And it just has ghouls living amongst humans, but you can't tell that. And then there's these like ghoul hunters that are trying to kill ghouls, and not all of them are bad, some of them are. So I really am enjoying this. But anyway, yeah, those are all the books I have read in July. Those are the 25 books. If you have read any of these or would like to read any of these, please comment down below. I would love to talk with y'all. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.